You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. The most informative 3 hours you'll have all day. The Dan Bongino Show.
Great guest coming up for you in about 40 minutes. Dinesh D'Souza. We did a movie together. We stayed. Dinesh has been amazing what's going on with culture and college campuses for years. And we're going to dig into how this is not a... Yes, for a group of people who are terrorists and want to kill Jews, that's what this is about. But folks, I promise you, I'm betting my entire professional reputation. I know I'm right, so confident I am what I'm saying. The majority of the people on these college campuses are in the useful idiot. They are probably paid, incentivized protesters. I don't, the money trail may be hard to detect, but they're there for a reason other than what you think. These are Marxist type protests, bottom-up street organization protests, and I can guarantee you right now, the same faces you're seeing on the college campuses screaming Free Palestine, even though I don't even know what it was, it never has been, will be the same people who will lose their minds after November if Donald Trump wins the election. You'll see him at protests all across the country. I guarantee you my entire reputation, I guarantee. Folks, if you're looking for a firearm that's easy to transport, you got to check out the U.S. Survival of the Henry McCain. This thing is amazing. Me and Jim know that. It's a portable rifle. You can put it together in just a few minutes. When you're not using it, you store the parts in a little casing. It feels fun. Little bag, and the thing is great. Jim has one. I have one. It's light enough to carry everything. It comes in black and 2 different camo packs. And you can pick one up for $300 to $400, depending on the finish. You can watch a few videos of the survival rifle at henryusa.com/survival. And while you're there, be sure to order their free catalog. Henry makes more than 200 rifles, shotguns, and revolvers, and they're all made in America, backed by a lifetime satisfaction guarantee.
Get this shit back
Best
in
customer
mouth.
service business. Go to their website. It's henryusa.com. And be sure to order free catalog. Send it free decals that's from dealers in your area. That's henryusa.com for a free catalog of decals. See the Henry. Let's survive.
This is the Dan Bongino Show, exclusively on News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
So a couple of thoughts here before the break. One, the polls I was telling you. And I'm going to get back to these agitators. Because they're not in this for the cause. For the cause you think they're in it for, they're not. But these polls are devastating. And that's why in the next segment, I'm going to tell you where the Democrats are going to start to go. It's not going to be an October surprise. There's going to be a May, June, July surprise. They're going to try anything. And they're already kind of leaking out what they want to do. Nevada, Trump plus 11. Wisconsin plus 3. North Carolina plus 10. Arizona plus 6. Georgia, Trump plus 8. Pennsylvania plus 1. Michigan plus 1. Folks, these numbers are devastating. Catastrophically bad. There has never been a better contrast for the Republican Party between two candidates. Ever. This is just... This is like fire and ice. Now, regarding these protests, Donald Trump appears at this point likely to win. No one should be counting any chickens. You better get out and vote. Take 10 people with you. We're certainly not doing red wave talk. But man, I'm guaranteeing you right now, it pains me to say, he wins this thing in November. That November to January period before he's sworn in, you are going to see street chaos like you've never seen. And this college campus craziness you're seeing now, folks, I'm telling you, it's just a rumor. There is some really, there's a bad moon rising. It's going to get ugly there. And you are going to see some of these exact same things. No, I thought they wanted for free Palestine. The left doesn't care, but they just fill up the lines. So they just want people to show up and break Marcus. Hey, you may have had the experience of how helpless to have someone you love escort you to medical. Help prepare your family. I beg you to visit Jase.com.
Professionals at Standard 7-Eleven. That's 8 you ever make. To learn more, get your...
This is about the left, Nicole. And this is Alabama Dale. He is the monarch
you ever make. To learn more, get your free info kit. Birch Gold by texting HEDGE
1098-9898. That's HEDGE. 1098-9898. Take a stand for your financial future. Text HEDGE. 1098-9898 right now to receive your free info kit on gold IRAs for virtual. That's what you think of the case.
The Boy and Girl Clubs of the Tennessee Valley invite you to make a difference in the lives of their club members and the entire community this year. For every dollar invested into the clubs, there's $12.47 of positive economic impact returned to our community. You can learn more and help the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley build great futures by donating today. Visit bgctnv.org. That's bgctnv.org. The Dan Bongino Show, weekdays from noon to 3 on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. Any questions?
Call just came in.
It's
up on EBS now.
844-484-2872. The Dan Bongino Show.
There it is, a weekly shout out to our good friend at Basketball Show in Alabama Dale. He is the monarch of Mobile. He has many titles, Baron, Berman, the Duke of Dover. This was good. He's not found by the time. He ripped the ground over. Holding it down. So that's who's looking at. They have the people arrested on some of these college campuses were in fact not students. Shockingly, sounds like something I just told you before the break, and that's the title of my podcast today. These are the professional agitators, folks. These are not innocent college students who want to free Palestine, even though there is no peace. That's not what it's about. It's about the left causing trouble in the White House and getting ready to cause chaos in the middle of a presidential campaign and using X reason to do it. What's X reason? Whatever reason they can find. Save the polar bears, Occupy Wall Street, the WTO in Seattle, Antifa. They don't care. They just want people organized from the ground up because they want to create energy because they don't know something and they're going to stop the position. They're getting desperate. I read to you the quote for the break. These are I mean, let's just say plus minus 5. Say that standard. He is out in the margin of error. Nevada, North Carolina, Arizona, and Georgia. Even if he's saying in some Wisconsin he's up 3. There's polls terrible. The margin of error here is -5. He would still only be down 2 in Wisconsin, even under the worst case scenario. They are in awful shape. Now they're closed, and you've got to give the standard poll cliche because they're true. Reason because it is correct. Polls are just measures of public perception at a specific point in time, and especially with Donald Trump. Polls are typically way off. I remember reading in the Washington Post before the 2016 election that Donald Trump's chances of winning approaching 0. According to Chris Cillizza, of course, he ended up winning, so not approaching 0. But no matter where you stand on polls, if you're Joe Biden, you're in really bad shape. That's why I'm not surprised that what they typically reserve for roughly September, October, before the November election, what we call an October surprise, that we're starting to see hints of what it's going to be. Now, I need a little back and forth with the audience because I want to see if you're going to rock it. Jim, you think you would come? Sure, it's only like 15 seconds. This is Tony Blinken, our absolute dreadful Secretary of State, who has managed to, on his watch, the Afghanistan fall, a war in the Middle East, a war in Ukraine. How this guy still has a job is beyond me. They should fire him for principle alone. But here's Tony Blinken. He's already setting up October surprise, which I think this time is going to be, and I've said this before, Trump colluded with China and steal the election. But after you listen to him, watch him kind of, see the agriculture field deal with conspiracy theories. I want you to think to yourself, listen to the podcast, shoot. What do you think they're going to use to quit Trump? In other words, China's going to help Trump. This is their crazy narrative. Very simple. Set this up. Well, what is Trump going to give China? Because there's an easy one out there right now. Some of you pick this up. Check this out.
We have seen, generally speaking, evidence of attempts to
influence and arguably interfere, and we want to make sure that that's cut off as quickly as possible. China's interfering in the election, huh?
So I can see
What
Russia
would be
again.
the quid pro quo? All right, some of you listen to the podcast and you get it.
No, it's not Russia preventing the election anymore.
100%. Jim, can you flag that? Please flag what's today's date. It's May 2nd, 1:38 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're listening live, if not, you probably should be. But having said that, there's going to have to be a quid pro quo. Remember the Russia quid pro quo? Now, do all fake. I'm not suggesting you any of this is real or even remotely attached to status. The Russian quid pro quo was that Vladimir Putin had this PP tape with Donald Trump. Of course, it was tape. And that Donald Trump was going to change the Republican platform at the convention to benefit Putin. None of that happened. The changes they said happened didn't happen. It happened due to a process that had nothing to do with Donald Trump. And there is no PP tape. The thing was made up. So now they'll use the Russian thing again. They'll try, but they already know like, looks kind of going to laugh that off. It's just so ridiculous and stupid. The China collusion thing, I think it's going to be taken. Now, Jim's flagged it. You flagged it. I'm seeing a lot of flags out there. If it happens, if you heard it here first, I think it's going to go something like this. Donald Trump recently changed his position on TikTok. He said, listen, and by the way, I agree, I don't think TikTok should be banned. If you don't like TikTok, don't download the app. However, the bill's been signed. I live in the real world, not the fake world. Again, disclosure, I'm an investor in Rumble. Rumble has got a bid out to be one of the purchasers of TikTok. Put that out there. Nothing to do with that. I'm not a manager there. However, that's only fair to put that out there. But I don't think it should have been banned. If you don't download the app, if you don't like it, don't download the app. Trump has the same position. Trump's position now is, listen, a lot of these other companies are even worse. And why are we banning this specific company? I get it, China's probably propagandizing our kids, but there's a way to keep them off TikTok. Just keep them off TikTok. I can almost guarantee you they are going to make up some fake conspiracy theory that in exchange for Donald Trump coming out publicly and defending TikTok, China did X. It doesn't matter what X is, they're just going to make it up. Some focus group of morons is going to go out there and go, well, this sounds right, let's do this. Now, this matters because we got to be ready in advance. We have to preemptively prepare ourselves. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. This is a little self-deprecating for reasons. I don't want you to ever think, I'm above screwing stuff up. I always drove me crazy. I like radio hosts who are humble because real human beings make serious mistakes. Trying to pretend you're better than your audience is a recipe for disaster. But the initial 2016 election, the Russia collusion hoax started to percolate. I got onto it early because I'm friends with Levin, and Levin was all over this. Mark Levin was on this thing from the start. He was one of the first guys with Solomon and Sarah Carter to sniff out that something was going on. Then Hannity started covering it, and it became like a big deal. Many of you remember this. This wasn't that long ago, 8 years ago. But when it first happened, I'm going to tell you, I'm throwing myself under the bus. When it first came out, there was a side of me, having been through the warrants process and how difficult it is to get warrants sometimes, especially for something like that. I thought, man, is there something there? Perhaps like the craziest story ever. Folks, shame on me. I didn't believe the FBI, by the way. I just thought they would be absolutely crazy to suggest this level of insanity without, like, something. I thought, did they have an email or there's got to be something there? Because in my head, I'm thinking, do you know how many reputations are going to go up in flames if this story is a complete, total fabrication? Throwing myself in the bus. Every single minute of the story. At my school. I really was. Or even for a second, being like, if I knew what's really pushed, I did not trust the guy. Straight in. But I thought maybe there's something somebody used, they read something, email, and I don't supposed to reach out to me and say, no, yeah, I'm telling you right now, there's absolute fake evidence, fake all of this stuff. I wound up writing 3 books because I was so annoyed at myself. I made sure I wanted to go back and not only do it, but warn everyone else that we're in a different country. you can just completely fabricate a scandal, hijack the Justice Department and FBI, and use it to investigate a scandal you just made up. I tell you that because with this China collusion sense that may be just around the corner, if you're ready in advance, we're going to be able to crush this thing immediately. And just like the bloodbath hoax, we're going to be able to turn it around.
You ain't got
Do
nowhere to
not
go.
believe anything that comes out of the media's mouth about a collusion hoax, Russia, China, folks, nothing. They are simply trying to provide air cover for a collapsing Biden campaign right now. Again, to describe it as apocalyptic, I'm not even doing it justice. These polls are horrendous.
Yeah, my gun,
And I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about a series. A series of polls that has Biden down by catastrophically awful numbers. You are going to see a litany of conspiracy theories come out from now till then, and I'm begging you, please, please, keep that BS filter strong and don't let any of this in your cerebral cortex.
Yeah, you ain't ready for this.
Now, something I told you about the other day. I told you that inside the White House, the only reason I bring this up is because I didn't bring the receipt the other day because it wasn't available. Inside the White House, they are panicked about the polls and the contrasts. The contrasts are off. Donald Trump's sitting in court being prosecuted by Joe Biden's handpicked cronies, while a bunch of kill the Jews people rage all over college campuses, while Biden's claiming to be the law and order. This is killing. It's destroying. It's destroying his campaign. The contrasts are just horrendous. The college campus stuff, they don't know how to respond. Biden has two competing, you ever see those TV commercials where there's like a little guy, a devil, and an angel on his shoulder? Well, in Biden's case, there's no devil or angel. Biden can't make up his mind because Biden can be. There's one thing about Joe Biden you need to understand. Joe Biden has no sense of morals or decency at all. If you ask people who really know Joe Biden, they'll tell you this. I mean, you get a beer in them, they will say Joe Biden is a dignity-free individual. He has no human dignity at all. He will say anything to obtain and abuse power. So the problem he's having now is the people who really want to kill the Jews.
Hey, listen here, motherfucker. Yeah, talk shit now.
And basically kidnap the janitor. You can't say something like this to me for 9 days. And because and pathetic, he will never ever have this little soldier. Here, Politico playbook. Whenever I want to speak what the leftists are thinking, I go right to Politico's playbook because it's run by communists. And if they're saying it, this is what the communists are thinking. I told you this chaos was going to drive them nuts. And a bunch of people responded back, not you guys, but a couple of, there's always someone who's devil's advocate. They said, oh, they don't care about this stuff. It works in their favor. The Kill the Jews crowd loves them. And no, this is driving them nuts. This is driving them crazy. No president wants these images on TV. Here's playbook. The chaos can make this string of unrest a political danger for Biden, particularly as it doesn't mention the speeches and at his convention. And if there's no ceasefire. The protests are, quote, again, these are leftists saying, a brutal reminder that America has not snapped out of the normalcy Joe Biden promised in 2020. You're a regular listener if you want to the show you know about this show. What are the most destructive political narratives or stories? They're narratives or stories about a candidate that destroy your pre-existing notion that candidate. They're stories that destroy pre-existing notion that candidate was. If your candidate is known as a big playboy and party guy, the story comes out that he's a partier and a playboy, you may not like the story, it's not going to hurt you. It's already baked into the cake. Biden baked the cake. Air quotes win in 2020. And that came to think, I am a senior statesman. I am a stable guy as vice president. So I'm going to bring back ladies and gentlemen, every day there's people piling across the border. There's a bunch of kill the Jews people rallying on college campuses. There's street crime videos that we should the right is losing their progress over this. It is decimating every shred of this guy's brain. Thinks it is eating them alive. Oh yeah, it's out and do the right thing. And he took the easy way out. Now it's cost.
You asshole.
We're coming up. Father's Day and graduations are coming around the corner. If you're looking for a unique gift, you've got to check out the personalized receiver covers from Henry.
Wait for MetaShare.
That's the lefties, how they talk to themselves.
Let's wait. 687-8200 Farm City Finance.
Wait.
Divided by 384. Johnson RCO. Need some info for the IGO Classic. Boss just looks like Tito's Digital has helped our SEO big time. Speaking to Johnson. Search engine optimization. SEO. Now, that's it. Financial Studio. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. If liberal policies work, why don't liberal policies work? The Dan Bongino Show.
Jim's taking notes there. You know what I was doing? We have guessed Joe D for the last 2 weeks, which has been not even shameful since it's a police.
So uncouth.
So Jim believes that it's unofficial show, which kind of, Eric gets on me when I miss. He's not even the Joe D record. We don't even have a record. But that's it, see, I love Joe. Those are great countries. Really good stuff. So there you go. I get it, it's not official. I opened that Pandora's box. One of them in there. Like I said, very, you get very upset. Keep this guy out. He's like the captain of the, Anita, during my Rumble chat, she's like the queen. She loves that whole chat. Everybody, they actually said her. Eric is like the P1. It's not just the rest of the case that's killing us, right? So he's not the political claim. That's the left involved in something. But the chaos eating the White House. It's overseas, Jim. I've got some great clips coming up for you. The national news are coming up in a few minutes. Nobody's better, I think, like this man. Hey, a lot of these emergencies, they don't come with a form. It's why they're emergency. And the next one comes better than whoever can hold. Grab your go bags, water, and some food. You don't want to be digging through a pantry. 5 minutes ready to go in. Secure this emergency supply today. 9 pages supply. Start a 3-week emergency for 5 pages supply. Every member of the helping millions of American families prepare for 5 pages supply with experts in efficiency. The 4-week emergency will get it's less than 25% storage. So it's in buckets, painless, grab, MyPatriotSupply.com gets many food kits as family needs for $50 off. Ship packs, free. Ship $50. Let's say $50 for get $50 for get. MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com. Next week's 5% talk about Wednesday. News Talk 98.7 WOKI. Jim, play cut 6, Trump, yesterday. I just want to show you what I mean by this. How the chaos is it's not just here. It's everywhere. And Trump understands contrast and painting pictures better than anyone. He's just got a natural instinct to say, here's me versus the other one. You'd be stunned how many politicians can't do this. Listen to this.
We never got into we beat ISIS.
And you reckon we never got into a war with this guy, you'll end up in World War III. You'll end up in World War III.
I'll tell you what, this next 6 months is going to be very scary. You could end up in World War III with this person, and there's grossly incompetent
No
man.
one followed you, right?
These are little things, but when you run for office like I did, you should run into a lot of candidates. I mean, you go to you really
We
go to
never
candidate
did.
forums.
Aye.
It shouldn't be a surprise. You play baseball, you're gonna run into baseball. And I've seen this. Some people just have this natural instinct. He has to create contrast. You would think in politics, where everything's a binary, Republican or the Democrat, almost every campaign is going to be like that. Outside of a few, you get a Green Party guy or someone who gets a head of steam and replace him. It's going to be the choice between these two people. He's got this natural ability to constantly paint his opponent in a negative light using his own. And it's just very open, of course, Dan. That's what candidates do. I'm telling you, you'd be stunned. How many people get lost in nonsense? They start doing this circuitous stuff about this crap and that crap, and they always forget. Gosh, am I telling this guy why I'm a better choice over the other guy? Contrast and sound bites and snapshots. Short, sound bites and snapshots. That's what you're like.
Craig Terry here with Craig Terry Jewelry Designs. Spring is finally here, and with that, there's graduations, Mother's Day, and Father's Day. There's no better way of saying
100 pro-Palestinian activists.
Please join me in helping Second Harvest Food Bank. The bank. It's presented by Southeast Bank. Once again, 521-0000 or secondharvestetn.org/back-to-back. Join the Bill Show Run from the Big Country Club for the Children's Hospital Golf Classic. Every dollar raised will benefit Children's Hospital and the kids in East Tennessee. Join Newstalk 98.7 Monday to learn how you can help. The fun starts at 6 a.m. Need some info for the IPO meeting.
No problem, boss. Just search the web. Cumulus Digital has helped our SEO big time.
Speaking to us, Johnson.
Search engine optimization.
SEO. That's A-OK. Cumulus Digital is Tennessee's source for award-winning news. On 98.7 WOKI-FM, Oliver Springs, Knoxville. Cumulus Media Station.
A new luxury car is available to win.
It's 2 o'clock,
Stop by and
84
have a
degrees,
drive
partly
at the
cloudy skies
Lucky
in
Wheel.
Knoxville. I'm Robin Travers on Newstalk 98.7 WOKI. Protests continue on college campuses across the country. Police in Los Angeles arresting over
Shame on you,
100
University of
pro-Palestinian
Tennessee.
activists after they refused to leave their encampment overnight. And protesters at NYU are rebuilding their anti-Israel encampment on the school plaza, despite warnings that they could be suspended if they don't leave the area. Fox's CB Cotton has more from NYU in New York City.
This is the open-air Gaza Solidarity encampment that has now been out here at NYU for a little bit more than a week. We don't know yet either whether the NYPD will be called in to clear out this encampment. In the meantime, we've got an up-close look at what officers had to contend with over at Columbia University. They had to use some high-powered electric saws to get through chain-linked doors, and then once they were in, they had to deploy flashbangs. Columbia University says Hamilton Hall is now an crime scene, and the students who were inside faced expulsion. The NYPD says their charges range from trespassing to criminal mischief to third-degree burglary.
NYU's president said at one of the protests where more than 100 people were arrested, less than half of those people were students at the school. The Knox County Board of Education appears united across the aisle in pushing back against a bill Governor Bill Lee has signed into law, creating a pathway to arming teachers and staff inside Tennessee schools.
WBLT is reporting that there are 2 resolutions in the board's May 9th meeting agenda that call for rejecting the notion of arming teachers in schools. Ultimately, the resolutions say the same thing. Knox County Schools is satisfied with law enforcement officers inside schools handling the security of its students, only the wording is different. If the resolutions pass, Knox County Schools will be the 3rd district to declare it won't let teachers carry guns in East Tennessee. It will follow Oak Ridge Schools and Anderson County Schools. I'm Robin Jaffe for Newstalk 98.7 WOKI. A bill to require some domestic violence suspects to wear a GPS device will become law if Governor Bill Lee doesn't veto it. It's called the Debbie and Marie Domestic Violence Protection Act. Knox County District Attorney Sharm Allen says this new law will help protect domestic violence victims. Alex Young has advocated for the law since his mother and sister were killed by his brother-in-law, who was accused of domestic violence against his sister. Tennessee state lawmakers passed a bill to require that domestic violence suspects wear a GPS device before a trial. A group of senators from both sides of the aisle is pressuring colleagues to reconsider allowing the TSA to use facial recognition technology on travelers. A group of senators, including Democrats like Ron Wyden and Elizabeth Warren, as well as Republicans like Roger Marshall and John Kennedy, sent a letter to their respective Senate leaders asking them to have Congress restrict the use of facial recognition software at our nation's airports. They write that the TSA has not provided data proving it's really worked to stop people from using fake IDs, and that they need to regulate this now. But once Americans become accustomed to facial recognition technology,
You got facial recognition in a video game you play.
People in any number of other locations. Right now, people can opt out of being scanned at the airport where this tech is deployed. But a year ago, the TSA administrator said eventually biometrics will be used across the board. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News. The Morristown Police Department is warning residents of a current scam. The caller is identifying himself as being MPD Chief Overholt, or another member from the department, and is demanding a payment utilizing cash and or gift cards. Members from the Morristown Police Department will never call you requesting money, and no government agency takes payment with any type of gift cards. MPD says there are many similar scams and recommends you not give out personal information or payment over the phone unless you are sure to whom you are speaking. It's 84 degrees under partly cloudy skies in Knoxville. The Dan Bongino Show continues in a moment. I'm Robin Travers on your station for news and talk in East Tennessee. News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
Big Swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Dan Bongino.
Hey, that's a car boss, bro. That's Litty. Hey, so I got this one up on the board because a little bird told me our asshole uncle is shipping it into the country right now. What do you say we hit the boat just like we did last time? And check it out, man. This car was actually at the mansion where the guy leaked that Dr. Dre track a while back. It was almost in the video. This thing is a piece of LS history, bro. Yusuf's gonna love it.
I know you are not, I get it, so I don't want to sound in any way condescending. But if you're under any illusion that any of this is about free speech...
Hey, I don't mean to freak you out or anything, but I found out that the air support near my uncle's ship is gonna be heavy. A fleet of Mavericks on patrol. So, I'm sending you the deets of one of the chopper pilots now. If you can take him out,
or frankly, whatever you want, as long as it's not violation.
They're down one bogey, and he might lead us to the others. Win-win.
So that's a canard. That's a red herring. That's a bunch of people trying to distract you from what's happening because the chaos that's happening is not working for the left. And creating a series of bad sound bites and snapshots and optics, whatever they want to call it, for Biden. So they're trying to distract you. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get a bunch of conservatives via this headspace. We start advocating their cause. And I'm just telling you, don't get stuck with this. It's not a free speech argument. Nobody is it's not an argument. Nobody's arguing. And I'm going to show you in detail in tomorrow's podcast. Won't be here for Randy and Jessica. This way. The same people who have funded things like the Global Disinformation Index, liberals, journalists, like donors, and these people, these are entities that have focused almost exclusively on censoring conservatives. That's it. Exclusively. They almost never censor liberals. The same people who, if you said the vaccine doesn't work to stop the prevention, to prevent the spread of COVID, or the masks don't work, are the ones funding a lot of this college campus chaos. Jim, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Tell them to call in. You can at 2:30. Do it a long time. It's not a big thing to see. These are the same people. I bring this up because we're not immune to this stuff. Here's a better way to explain it, because I don't want to sound pseudo-professorial. I'm trying to lecture. The left plays to our weakness all the time. The left has no guiding principle of power. Whatever they have to do to get power elections, send your kids to crap public schools so the teachers' union money comes their way. They don't care. I need you to understand that. Tattoo that on your back. They know, however, we do. And that's a weakness. Right? Having principles is a weakness. In some cases, politically, yes. Because if they move on this free speech thing, this is exactly what I'm talking about. They know conservatives like me would never support censorship of them. But they'll support censorship of us. So they don't care about free speech at all, but they know we do. So as a way to gather sympathy for their cause, whatever it is, the WTO, Occupy Wall Street, the left will speak in coded language to get conservatives to take the heat off them. Does this make any sense? Like, Jim, you get this? They do this all the time. They'll say, like, for instance, in the college campus, they'll speak in coded language. They'll say, you know what? They'll reach out to conservatives to be like, well, you guys are all free speech. What, you're not going to support our free speech? We're talking about free Palestine on campus, knowing it has nothing to do with that. And then a bunch of people fall in the trap and get distracted, and they wind up defending a lot of these people who are trespassing, attacking people, burglaries. That's not free speech. That's committing a crime.
When you've taken him out,
But the left is very good at this, leveraging our principles against us. Folks, when I think QT time is over, we got a shirt on my website that says QT time is over. I'm talking about stuff like this. This is not time to play cute. We're never going to violate or forfeit our principles or then our principles. However, don't let them sucker you in. They do this all the time. Matter of fact, they take advantage of the less stupidity in our principles. They'll take advantage of the less stupidity because if you ever talk to these people involved, these terrorists, a lot of incorporated useful idiots in the United States do. One of the first things they do is they will speak in coded language to them while speaking differently in the Arab. In the Arab world, they'll talk about whatever they want. Terrorism, terror attacks, in certain places where they feel that sympathy, they'll talk about it. When they come over here and talk about oppressors versus the oppressed, Jews are doing it, the Palestinians have stolen their land, it's all this coded talk. And it's a way to get you to take the heat off. Because it's gotten crazy. I played with you before the break. Trump talking about how, listen, there were these global wars when I was in office. That's brilliant. Him creating that contrast is absolutely brilliant. Where people are going, Trump's right. And I don't remember his camps with Donald Trump. That's why people now, when you ask them if they remember Trump's presidency is successful, he's gone up like 10 or 15 points. Because given time to unwind, let him time to breathe, give it time to breathe, and then drink the crappy wine first, and that breathing wine is really good. Tastes that much better. Here's a great quote, right? It's the Congressman quote, Jim Cupstead. The global chaos, it's not just in the United States and college camps, all over the globe. No one likes chaos. The Bills just nailed this. He created the perfect contrast for the defense secretary. And everyone gives questions go off on 3 minutes. But when did this stuff happen? Is it Biden or Trump? Watch the defense secretary. Just basically forced to acknowledge the fact that their guys are losing. He's just fucking check this out.
The Sahel area has had 8 coups since 2020. Is that correct?
There have been a number there, yes.
Who has been president of the United States since 2020?
First President Biden was inaugurated.
And the amount of Iranian missiles or rockets that's been fired has been vastly increased between 2021 and 2024. Would you agree? Over 159 plus attacks.
There have been a number of attacks. The vast majority of those attacks have been ineffective.
And can you tell me who was president during this time?
Of course, it was President Biden.
In 2019, we were able to put 18 historic peace treaties in place called the Abraham Accords. Do you agree that, given the fact that it wasn't since 1979 for Egypt, 1994 for Jordan relations with Israel, that this was a very good step towards helping the stabilization of the Middle East?
I do agree with that.
And can you tell me who put that in place?
It was the previous administration. Yes.
Can you tell me who that was exactly, Mr. Secretary? I didn't think so.
Well, that is what this is all about. Painting a picture for people. You know that Ronald Reagan was famous as Morning in America. This is what matters. It reminds people, yeah, the House of Information just a few years when they weren't dealing with, 9% inflation at one point, the 5% real wages going down. They weren't dealing with any of it. These are reminders. And it's also another reminder of Biden's grotesque incompetence that I want you to understand the Democrats have known about forever. Bob Gates, who was a Secretary of Defense for Republicans and he wrote a book. He's got a pretty bipartisan reputation as a truth, whether you like him or not. He gave an interview to The Atlantic about his book about was an interview that's covered. But Philip Bump, yes, that notes in the piece from 2014. Robert Gates thinks Joe Biden hasn't stopped being wrong for 40 years. They've already known.
Damn, that's a strike, yo. Wipe out. At least we know we won't have any Mavericks up our ass when we hit that ship.
The Democrats are only voting for this guy because they hate the alternatives. Nothing about this guy they like. It's up to us to reach out to the third person, those independents and Democrats, and convince them that there's only one option. All right, I got more coming up next, including a follow-up on the Marjorie Taylor Greene situation and Mike Davis. We don't get the national secret trade. About how important this November election is, especially with
while you're out there,
regards to
why don't you take that place for a pair of bolt cutters? We'll need them if we want to break into that container.
In a cashless society.
few negative comments up you right now. These were your intro move you ever
hit within the first day.
At 865-675.
All right, so we moved to that in about 10 minutes. It's always great. Yes. Everything. Exactly. I want to play this clip coming up for you, and I just want to get it to you. Just a quick update on this Marjorie Taylor Greene vacate.
Martian.
Because it's critical. We can't have distractions right now. We want to create contrast. The contrast right now is Biden's the chaos candidate, domestically and here. We see it everywhere. It's all over the news. And that we're not. It's really not complicated. If we create our own chaos, intra-party, you're destroying the primary political narrative right now that's going to eat the Biden campaign alive. There can be no distractions from now to the election. None. I got very few negative comments on this yet. It's stunning. They've gone down every time I've mentioned. I first mentioned the post the speaker was a bad idea. It was 50-50. That was like 95-5. Yes. After the last debacle, this is terrible. Folks, whenever something goes viral, rest assured that the frauds are going to jump on the map and head to their Patreon things. You know, it's trendy right now, so you really have to do your homework. Share our value. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative platform. Patriot Mobile has been a great supporter of the show, the only cell phone service. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get free activation today with the UC offer code Dan. Don't be fooled by fake patriotic TV ads. Part of the only wireless provider that actually lives our value. patriotmobile.com/Dan. Promo Dan.
Dan Bongino. The Triple H radio experience follows the Dan Bongino Show at 3 on News Talk 98.7 WOKI.
So here's what I mean. We have this perfect kind of poem. You know when they put, diamonds on a black background and it makes them sparkle better? Not a jewel, but you create this poem where the contrast makes something look different than it really is. And happens all the time. You see with those optical illusions. You put the two parallel lines, you draw an angled line between them. It looks like they're moving towards each other, even when they're not. This contrast for us of the Biden chaos, which is on TV screens, we didn't do it. These are not conservative college campuses. No one can blame Republicans. No one can blame Donald Trump for Russia invading. It's what happened on President Biden. The chaos narrative for Biden is a natural one to tattoo on him and just punch him in the election with because nobody likes him. This is why right now, again, I am so against this deposing of the speaker. Because it's going to create maybe lots of chaos. Or forget for a minute about Speaker Jeffries, which would likely happen. From the economic chaos argument, the street chaos, the campus chaos, the foreign chaos, and it makes it look like we're the disorganized losers. We've got enough problems in the Republican Party right now. And I spoke to a friend of mine, the conservative movement, you all know, I'll leave his name out of it, but we were kind of texting last night. And I felt like he was leaning a little bit towards this move to get rid of Speaker Johnson. And I talked him out of it. I think, I'm not sure, but I think, I say we'll see, after we stop texting at a certain time. I think we both just went to sleep, whatever. But I said at the end, they're going to try to steal this election. I'm sure. mail-in ballot nonsense, drop boxes, all of it is crazy. They are going to try to do, I'm absolutely sure. Do you want a Democrat speaker, a Democrat controlled House of Representatives and the Senate overseeing this entire process from the November to January period when this election, same day, be called into question? We'll have no subpoena power, we'll have nothing. That's just crazy. Wow. And all the damage that's been done with these bills that the Republican Party will stop. Now we're horrible. A lot of these foreign funding bills, the spending bills, they were all crap. $3.5 billion for NGOs to import refugees into the United States. It's horrible. But folks, it's already done. It's already done. We'd be acting simply on emotion. And when I said that to them, I said, if they steal this election, you want Democrats in charge of the House and the Senate. We have no subpoena power overseeing the Electoral Count Act and all that process. You want that? And he was like, yeah, good point. I don't. We don't need chaos right now. I want to add one more thing. Jim, cut 9. This is a guy I really like. He's an economist. This guy, Peter St. Onge, he's great. He does a lot of these videos. We've moved into one of the most significant periods of economic stagflation we've seen since Jimmy Carter. Devastating. A stagnant growth rate and inflation. We haven't seen this since Carter. You're going to mess this up right now? We've got a golden opportunity to take the country back. Listen to St. Onge describe it, and I'm going to talk about the 1980 election because it's important, James.
Last week, we got some ugly economic numbers confirming what I've been warning, that prices are jumping while the economy is grinding to a halt. As Business Insider put it, quote, the U.S. economy may be barreling towards stagflation, an outcome worse than recession. That's quite the understatement. In fact, the last time we went into stagflation in the 1970s, we got years of double-digit unemployment.
All right, here's the deal. I got the pilot who can get our container off the ship. The thing is, he needs a sky lift to lift it. You know, the ones with the huge magnets. That's the kind of equipment Meriwether keeps in stock. You just got to convince him to hand it over.
Landing, he may have screwed us all the way to the 70s. In fact, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said just that, and that the economy, quote, looks more like the 70s than we've ever seen before.
Okay, the opportunity we have in front of us, why we need to be laser focused right now, there is nothing going right for this guy. They're outside of the chaos narrative, which is bad enough in its own right. There is nothing that will bury a national presidential election quick enough than a genuinely awful economy. It's bad enough to not be growing, what we would call economic stagnation, right? When you compound with levels of inflation we haven't seen in 30 years, you have this double whammy, but in this case it is. Where people, the money they have, buys less stuff. And the economy they live in and their wages aren't growing to catch up. I mean, think about it. If you had rampant inflation, say it's simple math, you had 5% inflation and 6% growth. Most people are still getting richer. Even if inflation's big, things are getting more expensive, but I'm making 6% more every year. That's not what's happening. Stagflation is just furthering the economy. At the 1980 election, Jimmy Carter got absolutely smoked. I have an image of the results on my podcast. He won Georgia, Rhode Island, was it West Virginia, Maryland, and Minnesota? Like, that's it. He got destroyed by Reagan, stagflation. Don't mess this up. No distractions, right? All right, I'm going to try to get Father's Day and graduations are coming around the corner. If you're looking for a unique gift, you've got to check out the personalized receiver covers from Henry Returns. We'll be there for requirement. Reach per 843-872 is another WTO.
We will never out insurance that
We got him up on the phone, always happy to.
insurance that puts you first. Call today, 865-425-7300, or visit miginsgroup.com. Madison Insurance Group, protecting your future with a personal touch.
Looking for straight talk on today's hottest topics? It's Dan Bongino on News Talk 98.7.
I'm on the clock. What you want? Some wheels? It's on the way.
844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
844-484-3872 is the number 844-4. Say we take your calls per hour, and as always, if you miss any of the show, please don't
Hello, this
hesitate
is
to check out
911. What
podcast
emergency
available
service do you require? Thank you. Police officers are en route to your current location.
Who's behind these buildings? So don't miss it. Check it every day. We've got up on the phone. Always happy to have Dinesh D'Souza on the show. Dinesh, welcome back.
Thanks, Dan. Always a pleasure.
We did a movie together called Police State. Really enjoyed the process. Learned a lot about what's going on in these groups. Dinesh, you're one of these guys. You've been a real teacher to me for a long time. I watched your videos when I first got into politics, where you would go on to college campuses and debate. And I think you understand the totalitarian left better than anyone out there. And what I'm trying to get across to my audience is this idea of local organizing, bottom-up agitation,
civilian
is not real.
Welcome them on
This
base.
college campus thing has nothing to do with free speech. Nobody on the right is trying to suppress anyone's free speech. This is about just the left using organization to impact and destroy society. Whether the movement's Occupy Wall Street, NTO in Seattle, George Floyd, that doesn't care. It's enemies to agitate just to impact society. And I know you've got some thoughts.
Well, Dan, I think you're making a really key point here, which is summarized by one of the activists of the Weather Underground, going back to the 1960s. He said, it's never begin through a arbitrary direction. And if you think about that, what he means is that the left is constantly in a state of agitation. It wants to capsize or overturn the institutions of society, and it looks for a pretext to do that. So, in the 1960s it was Vietnam, later it was the nuclear freeze, then the ozone layer, it could be today climate change, it could be BLM, it could be Gaza. He just look at these as interchangeable rhetorics that and the left is equally, you could equally get them galvanized on any of these things. They opportunistically move from one to the other.
Yeah, we're talking to the next we did a movie, States, check it out. I was making the case before, also to the audience, Dinesh, that you can be the same people. When you look at people on our side of the agitation for a living, there are a couple of groups that do this, yeoman's work. They'll tell you that they can produce the receipts and the facts to back it up. That these are the same people during the 2016 presidential November to January period, after Donald Trump was declared the winner, before he was sworn in, that were causing all this reaction. They were the same people in George Floyd. Same people showing these college kids. Not all of them, obviously. There's going to be new recruits and people flushing in and out of it. But the agitators are the same. And that was a great line. The thing is never the thing. It's always about the revolution.
They won't be like no life matter. It's going to be like 1
You know, I had Dan Bill Ayers, the old domestic terrorist, really on my podcast about a year ago. And I asked him at the University of Michigan, where he had led this kind of massive movement in the 1960s, led SDS, students who are down the and I said, 25,000 students SDS on the campus. Because if you look at the media, it looked like the whole campus was up in an uproar, the whole campus was up in flames. And he goes, no, at the peak, we were 300 to 400 people. At the peak. So what this tells you is that the left has an insight, and that's the there's for 25,000 people, and most of them want to get to class, want to go to lunch, want to go to a frat party. If you can get 300 to 400 highly mobilized and organized activists, you can, in a sense, quote, take over the campus. And I think that's what's going on in these campuses. A small, well-organized cadre, made up of students, but also made up of non-student allies, as they call them, joining together to put these campuses into peak.
Criticisms that comes from some people is they say, Dan, you're just blinded by Israeli propaganda or whatever. You're just being an ass. Like, that's just stupid. I'm not blinded by anything. I hate Israel and Jews out there that are financing bodies, but most of these Republicans are just disbelieving. But I say, no, because one of the videos I heard on my podcast, on the radio show, in Israeli, was prime minister. He's talking about exactly what you just said, the video went viral. These are and you only have to reach a critical mass of population to enact mass change. And you would think out there that you said, 25%, 30%. And you look at the data he cites in his speech, he's talking about 1% of the population. You can get to anything that you can really overthrow systems and structures for the other 90%.
That's absolutely true, Dan. Another point I want to make, which is closely related, is that the way to get the left suckered into an issue is to take their rhetoric of victimization, which they are, they're being indoctrinated in day in and day out in their classrooms.
Trust no one.
And yet when they look around, it's very hard for themselves to think of themselves as victims. Even if you're on a black kid on a campus, people are doing backward somersaults to accommodate you. You're not being oppressed. Nobody's calling you the N-word, any of that. So you have a rhetoric and a theory of oppression, but you're not oppressed. Anything like Gaza comes along, the students go, wait a minute. The people in Gaza are starving. What about if we take over a building and we become like the Gazan people because we don't have food, we don't have water, so we can pretend like we're starving. And then we demand that the university supply food, just like the people in Gaza are demanding that the UN, the Red Cross supply food. So what I'm getting at is, in Gaza you have people who really need food. These dudes, the dining hall is open, the restaurants are open, there's plenty of food, but they like the ritual reenactment in which they are the Gazans, the university is like Israel, the buildings can be both occupied the same way Israel is occupying Gaza. It's ultimately a sick, twisted sort of dramaturgy, a stagecraft of oppression.
We're talking international news. It's a movie out, Police State. Check it out. Look up the DVD. And forgive me for the setup here. I'll try not to be long-winded. But a friend of mine who's very experienced in leftist organizing, who's now a convert, he said to me that a lot of the people doing this now, the college professoriate, the people in the entertainment business, they're old, at least the money. And he said, you have to understand that they grew up in a generation where the cause a lot of them thought they were fighting for, and the civil rights.
All right, here's the deal. I got the pilot who can get our container off the ship. The thing is, he needs a skylift to lift it. You know, the ones with the huge magnets. That's the kind of equipment Merryweather keeps in stock. You just got to convince him to hand it over.
Resolving most of this de jure and certainly de facto racism. You're an open racist now on Twitter. You're right. Man, that's it. You're canceled from society forever. They're so uncomfortable with that fact that it's almost a revolution in search of a cause. But I didn't kind of hinted to that in the beginning, but you kind of go into the analysis that these are the people who are organizing that. Not to find something, man. Their lives are so meaningless. They want to get back to the 60s agitation again, but they just don't have a good cause. They got to go make one of it.
Well, not only do I agree with it, but I would go even further and highlight the peculiar conundrum of the progressive Jews in America. Because if you think about it, they too are in a competition for victimization. In fact, until recently, their hope was that you got racism, you got sexism, you got homophobia, but they wanted to add anti-Semitism. And the real villain in that story would be, if you will, the white power structure and the assumption that the progressive Jews are we're in with the blacks, we're in with the women, the feminists, and so on. And I think to their rude shock, they've been kicked out of the progressive coalition by the Arabs and by the sort of activists on behalf of Palestine who say to them, no, you are wrong. You're part of the power structure. You're basically Israel in America. You're an occupier. So progressive Jews are now in a very awkward position because the victimization thing was working for them until now.
Yeah, and is that part of the oppressed, matrix they have? Hey, I've tried a couple of people in the audience that said they corresponded me on Facebook and Humble and stuff. And one of them asked, well, I don't get it. What is it specifically? Not the terrorists. They just want to kill Jews because they're insane. They just hate Jews. It's generational. But with the Americans, I guess, what is it specifically about Israel that bothers them? And I said very simply, I think it has to do with they don't like the idea that Israel has this small space in the Middle East. And I mean, as part of what the Arab world looks like. Look at it on the map. It's like New Jersey. It's massive country. Egypt, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Persia, or whatever. And And yet they've succeeded on a piece of land with no natural resources we can really speak of. And they've done it through merit and meritocracy. And that just drives the oppressor-oppressed narrative that success must have been stolen from someone else because the work for them is zero.
Yeah, the thing about